Have you ever watched a horror movie that didn't just scare you in the moment, but stayed with you long after the screen went black? Not the kind that makes you scream once and laugh it off later, but the kind that quietly follows you into the next room. Have you ever finished a horror film and suddenly felt the silence around you grow louder? The lights feel dimmer, the corners of the room feel deeper, and for a brief moment, you hesitate before turning around. That is real horror. And 2025 delivered films that understood this perfectly. These movies don't rely on cheap jump scares. They don't depend on gore or shock value. They rely on something far more unsettling: dread, the slow realization that something is wrong, the feeling that danger is present even when nothing is happening. Some of these films begin gently, almost calmly, but with every minute, they tighten their grip. So here are the top 10 horror movies of 2025, ranked from unsettling to absolutely terrifying. Stay till the end, because number 1 is not just scary, it changes how silence feels. Number 10, Frankenstein. This film begins quietly. No thunder, no screaming villagers, no chaos. Instead, it opens with solitude, cold rooms, dim light, a sense of isolation that hangs in the air. This version of Frankenstein is not about fear through violence. It is about fear through responsibility. The creature is not immediately dangerous. It observes the world. It studies people. It learns how humanity behaves. And that is what makes it unsettling. Because the creature is not born evil. It is abandoned. The true horror of this film lies in the realization that creating life is not the end of responsibility. It is the beginning. Every quiet scene adds weight. Every unanswered question lingers. This movie doesn't chase you. It doesn't scream. It simply asks a question and leaves you alone with it. What happens when creation is left to suffer? And that quiet discomfort makes it the perfect starting point for this list. Number 9, Fear Below. The ocean is already terrifying. Its depth, its silence, its emptiness. Fear Below uses all of that and turns it into something unbearable. At first, the story feels familiar. A group of people stranded at sea, limited supplies, no immediate rescue. But slowly the tone changes. The water becomes darker. The horizon feels endless, and the silence grows oppressive. This is not a fast horror film. It is patient. It forces you to sit with the characters as they wait, and waiting becomes the worst part. Every splash feels suspicious. Every movement under the water feels intentional. The true horror is not the creature beneath the surface. It is the knowledge that you are completely exposed. There is nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. By the end of the film, the ocean no longer feels peaceful. It feels like something that watches. Number 8, Detective Keen, The Headless Horror. This film draws its fear from history and folklore. It is set in a time where superstition and reality blend seamlessly. Villagers whisper about an ancient curse. Bodies are discovered in disturbing conditions, and no one wants to speak openly. The detective at the center of the story begins to uncover a pattern, not just in the deaths, but in the behavior of the living. Rituals resurface. Old beliefs return. The horror here is slow and suffocating. There is no rush, no urgency, just the growing realization that whatever is responsible has always been there, waiting. This is not a monster that hunts. It is a presence that demands payment. By the time the truth is revealed, the film has already wrapped itself around you, and escape feels impossible. Number 7, Holy Night, Demon Hunters. This film begins with confidence. Trained individuals, clear rules, defined rituals. At first, it feels controlled, almost safe. The hunters know what they are doing. They have faced evil before, but slowly that confidence erodes. The demons behave differently. The rituals don't work the way they should. And faith, once a weapon, becomes a question. The film grows darker with each failure. What starts as action becomes fear. What starts as belief becomes doubt. By the time the hunters realize the truth, it is too late. They were never in control. The fear here comes from helplessness, from the idea that even preparation cannot save you. Number 6, The Monkey. Some objects should never be kept. The monkey centers around a simple object, a toy passed down through generations. It doesn't move much. It doesn't attack. It simply appears. And every time it does, something goes wrong. The film builds tension through repetition, through patterns that slowly reveal themselves, deaths that seem accidental, events that feel coincidental, until you realize they are not. The object is not violent, it is selective. And once that realization sets in, the fear becomes personal. You start. Number 5. Welcome Home Baby. At first, this film feels almost comforting. A family finally gets what they've been waiting for. A child, a fresh start. The house feels warm. The rooms feel lived in. Nothing looks threatening, but something feels wrong. The baby rarely cries, not in hunger, not in discomfort, just silence. At first, it feels like luck, a calm child, a peaceful home. But slowly, the silence becomes heavy. The parents begin noticing small things, reflections in mirrors that feel delayed, shadows that don't align with movement. The house begins to feel colder, even during the day. Rooms feel unfamiliar, as if they've shifted slightly. The film never rushes these moments. It lets you sit with them. You begin to realize this is not a story about a child. It's about something that arrived with the child. The horror grows quietly. No loud music, no sudden shocks. Just the growing feeling that the home is no longer safe. By the time the truth begins to surface, the house feels less like shelter and more like a cage. And the most terrifying thought settles in. Whatever came inside doesn't want to leave. Number 4. 28 years later. This film doesn't open with chaos. There are no explosions, no screaming crowds. Instead, there is emptiness, abandoned streets, overgrown buildings, silence where life once existed. The infection still exists, but it's no longer the focus. The focus is what survived, people, but not the people you remember. Society adapted, but at a cost. Trust is gone. Kindness is rare. Everyone is cautious. Everyone is armed, not with weapons, but with suspicion. The infected are frightening but predictable. Humans are not. The film shows how survival reshapes morality, how fear turns people inward. You don't just fear being attacked, you fear being betrayed. Every interaction feels tense. Every conversation feels dangerous. This isn't horror that screams at you. It quietly shows you a world where hope faded slowly. And that makes it far more disturbing, because it feels possible. Number 3, Bring Her Back. This is where the horror turns emotional. A family loses someone they love deeply. The grief is heavy, unbearable. When someone offers a way to undo that loss, it doesn't feel evil. It feels merciful, a ritual, a promise, a second chance. At first, everything feels right. The person returns. They look the same. They sound the same. But slowly, the differences appear. Memories feel slightly wrong. Emotions feel rehearsed. The love is there, but it feels hollow. The film lets this discomfort grow slowly. You start noticing what the characters try to ignore. Something came back, but it isn't who they lost. By the time the truth is revealed, the family has already crossed a line that cannot be undone. This film is terrifying because it comes from love, from desperation. It shows how grief can blind people to danger, and how some doors once opened can never be closed. Number 2, weapons. From the very first scene, something feels broken. Children disappear without explanation. Adults avoid questions. No one speaks directly. Everyone speaks around the truth. The film builds tension through silence, through conversations that end too soon, through glances that linger. You feel watched as a viewer, almost judged. The story unfolds like a puzzle, but the pieces don't fit comfortably. Every answer raises more questions. And then the truth emerges, not suddenly, but slowly. And when it does, it changes everything. You realize the horror was never hidden. It was normalized. Weapons is terrifying because it exposes something unsettling about society. That evil doesn't always hide in shadows. Sometimes it stands in plain sight, and no one stops it. Number 1. The Conjuring. Last Rites. This film understands fear at its core. It doesn't rush. It doesn't overwhelm. It waits. The story begins like a routine case, a house, a family, nothing extraordinary, but the silence feels deliberate. Sounds feel distant. Rooms feel heavier than they should. The film focuses on atmosphere, on pauses, on stillness. Doors open slowly. Shadows linger longer than they should. As the story unfolds, it becomes clear this is not just another haunting. It feels final, like something ancient is being confronted one last time. The horror doesn't come from what you see. It comes from what you sense. A presence that doesn't need to announce itself. By the time the climax arrives, the fear feels earned. Not loud, not chaotic, just deeply unsettling. This is the kind of horror that makes you afraid of empty rooms, afraid of silence, afraid of what might be watching when nothing is happening. This isn't just the scariest horror movie of 2025. It feels like a farewell, and it stays with you long after the screen goes dark.